Okay, so in these questions we need to solve for x, and at the moment in this first example down here we can see that x is down the bottom as a denominator of that fraction. When we're solving for x, we want it up essentially as x equals, which actually means it's up the top, because x over 1 is the same as saying just x. So we want to get x up the top of the fraction, so we don't really want it down the bottom where it is down here at the moment. So what we're going to do, if you look here, this x at the moment is dividing. So if we bring it over an equal sign, it's going to do the opposite, which is timesing. So we might step that out and we'll write that first out. So we've got 0.4, I didn't move that, and I've got 9 over 2, and now I'm going to say times x, because I've moved the x over. Now when you've got to remember, when you times fractions, we just times across. So remember before I said it's actually like saying x over 1, so we would times across there. So if we go and write what we've got in a bit more simpler form, so we've got 9x over 2. So now we're still trying to get the x by itself. So this time I'm going to move this 2 over to this. So this 2 is dividing. So if it goes over an equal sign, it will times. So let's write that out. So we've got 0.4 times 2 equals 9x. So we can do 0.4 times 2 is 0.8 equals 9x. And now we're going to solve for the x. So we need to move this 9 over the equal sign. The 9's timesing here. So over an equal sign, it will do the opposite, which is dividing. So we have 0.8 divided by 9 equals x. Now, if you don't have a calculator and you don't want to do the decimals the hard way, you can do this. So if I times that by 10 and that by 10, it doesn't matter because I've done it to both things. So if I do that, I'd have 8 over 90, and maybe you can simplify that. Is easier for you to simplify if you want to do it that way, because then you can say, what do you want to say, 2 into 8 goes 4, and 2 into 90 goes 45, and that's as simple as we can go. So you can just leave your answer like that. So I just wrote down another one, so I'll just work through it. So we don't want x down the bottom, so I'm going to move it over an equal sign. So I'm going to have the 4 equals negative 15 over 22 times x. So I end up with 4 equals negative 15x over 22. I'm then going to move this 22 over. So it'll be 4 times 22 equals negative 15x. So I get 88 equals negative 15x, and then I'm going to bring the 15 over, it's timesing, so it'll divide on the other side, and x. And I'm going to leave it in fraction form. I know the back of the book might put it in mixed number, but I'd rather you leave it in a fraction form because that's an exact answer.